So it's project day, and today I'm trying to make a mold to go in the freezer in the shape of an ice cube that's perfect for my Yeti mug. This is the Lowball Yeti. Great little mug. Keeps stuff cold for a long time, all day long, overnight, as long as you have ice in it. But what I really want to do is make a larger ice cube that fits exactly in here. So what I did was I started to get into this resin and rubber silicone mold making to try and do it. So I thought, well, first let me go ahead and just fill this thing with resin, put a plastic tube in the middle, because I kind of want to have like a cavity down the middle, because I've seen when I filled this whole thing with water and just froze it, that it melts from the outside edge down, but it takes so long to melt. I tried this over like 8-10 hours and there's no room to put a drink in. So what I wanted to do was revise how I was thinking about it and use something in the middle. And what I had bought were a couple of these tubes. This one's just full of water right now, but my idea was stick this tube in here, tape it down, then fill in the inside there with a resin, because I figured that I'd make the cube shape out of resin so it would be nice and hard so that I could make a mold out of silicone. Well, since I didn't know what I was doing, I did just that. So here's what happened. That's the way it turned out. I was afraid of not being able to get the acrylic out because obviously the Yeti is solid. So I stuck an empty tube down in the middle and taped it down. Little did I know, resin heats up, gets real hot as it cures. So it melted my tube and made this big chunk of nice hard resin. You can see I've got some pits in it, which I think what I've read is I probably used a little too much mold release. That moisture got in the resin, and then this is not coming out. So that did not work very well. Okay, so try 2 was to go ahead and make a new mold, but this time just do it out of silicone. So I've moved some things around. I did some readjusting of how I planned on doing it and poured some silicone in, put my top in, and lo and behold, now I've got a great silicone mold, which perfectly came out. Sides look great. I used a little less mold release, and I filled it up a little higher because I realized that this acrylic was not going to be near tall enough to make my mold. So I've made a mold of the full cavity that I want to be able to fill with ice, which is this piece here. So that does fit in there nice and easy, pops in and out. And so yeah, next, now the idea is to take this mold, silicone mold. I put some mold release on right now, and make a new set of silicone and go over top of this guy and see if I can build basically the cup mold in silicone over silicone. So I saw on the internet that somebody did it, so I figure why not. Got my mold release on here. I might spray another coat of it on, but then I got these Let's resin little box pieces, little mold pieces, which seem pretty cool. I was like, yeah, that's a lot easier than using plexiglass. So I've rigged this stuff together, made a little frame, double stick taped it down to a piece of plexiglass, and I've sprayed my mold release on the inside of here. So now I'm basically going to put this upside down in my little thing here and try to do this silicone over silicone. I got it taped down, but I did have some leakage from this when I did it the other day. Not from this piece, but when I tried to build a box out of acrylic, I was leaking all over the place. So that's why I got this. And now it's taped down, and I'm going to put a weight on top of it just to try to help hold the silicone in there. So right now I'm mixing up some silicone, and since you got to do it right, I got this silicone mixer, and it's mixing. I think I'd made probably a lot of extra silicone this time, but I looked at the jar, and it fits in there. I filled it almost all the way up, but I had an idea I'm going to use a little of the extra left over for something else. So this thing is, I put some dye in, just making the mold itself. This should be the mold that would go in the freezer with water in it, in this little green color. So we'll see if I can get that poured into this mold, and hopefully it releases. So this thing I think goes for about 45 seconds in the Let's Resin mixer, and we'll see. I've done it about 4 times now. I think those instructions on this stuff says 3 to 5 minutes of mixing. I kind of squeeze the sides a little bit, try to make sure I get all the edges, stuff out of the corners and off the walls. A good mix. Seems like it's done pretty good. This one turned out real well. So we'll pour away here in a moment, and we'll show you how it looks. If you enjoyed the videos, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and you'll be notified as soon as the next ones come out. Have a good one.